Every trader knows the scene. The room lit only by the glow of the screen, charts flickering like pulse lines of your own emotions. You lean forward, searching for meaning in the movement of candles, convinced that somewhere inside this chaos lies the secret you've been chasing for years. You've studied until your eyes blurred, memorized setups, tested systems, followed every influencer who promised freedom. Yet the balance on your account repeats the same cold story. Inconsistency, frustration, stagnation. Each loss feels heavier, each small win feels fleeting, and deep down you whisper the question you try not to say aloud. Maybe I'm just not meant for this. The truth is cruel but liberating. You are not failing because you lack intelligence or strategy. You are failing because you haven't transformed. Trading doesn't just demand skill, it demands evolution. The trader who begins this journey cannot be the same person who reaches mastery. You can copy every pattern on the chart, but if your inner patterns stay the same, impatience, fear, greed, then nothing outside will change. That's the trap most traders never escape. They chase external perfection while staying internally chaotic. They learn what to do, but never learn to be the person who can do it consistently. You see, the market is not your opponent. It's a mirror. Every chart you open reflects your mental state more accurately than any indicator. When you hesitate on a setup, that's fear talking. When you close too early, that's anxiety. When you over-leverage, that's greed pretending to be confidence. The market punishes emotional confusion, not bad analysis. And until you master your emotional independence, no amount of strategy will save you. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll stay disciplined today," only to break that promise an hour later? How many times have you sworn you'd follow your plan, then moved your stop because this time feels different? That's not ignorance, that's biology. The human brain was designed for survival, not trading. It craves safety, certainty, and immediate reward, but the market offers the opposite: uncertainty, discomfort, delayed gratification. So every trade is a battle between evolution and instinct, between who you are and who you must become. Most traders lose because they fight the wrong enemy. They think they're battling the market, when in reality they're battling themselves. The market has no emotion, no memory, no mercy. It simply amplifies whatever you bring to it. Bring fear, and it will feed you losses. Bring patience, and it will feed you opportunity. Your results are not random, they are reflections. Every blown account is not punishment, it's feedback, revealing exactly what still controls you. That's why professional traders treat the market like a teacher. Every red number is a lesson, every loss an invitation to observe rather than react. They understand that consistency doesn't come from predicting the next move, it comes from mastering the next reaction. While others chase setups, pros chase self-control. Here's the question that separates the amateurs from the elite. Do you trade to make money or to feel something? Most traders don't realize it, but they're addicted not to profit, but to emotion. The rush, the dopamine, the thrill of being right. They say they want stability, yet subconsciously they crave the roller coaster. The consistent trader, however, breaks this addiction. They replace excitement with discipline, chaos with structure, impulse with intention. They learn that boredom is not the enemy, it's the price of mastery. When there's nothing to do, they do nothing. So, before we dive deeper, ask yourself honestly, if you already know what to do, why can't you do it? The answer will determine whether you remain a participant or evolve into a professional. Let's talk about what really happens when you lose. Most traders think a loss is just a red number, a failed setup, or a bad entry. But your brain interprets it as something far more personal: failure. The moment you take a hit, your self-image takes one too. You feel shame, frustration, even anger. It's not about the dollars, it's about what those dollars represent: competence, control, validation. And that's where the spiral begins. You don't take the next trade to follow your plan, you take it to fix the feeling. That's not trading, that's emotional repair disguised as logic. This is where revenge trading is born. The brain can't stand the discomfort of loss, so it pushes you to act, to do something, even if that action makes no rational sense. You click buy or sell not because it's a setup, but because it numbs the pain. It's the same mechanism that drives addiction. The market becomes a slot machine and your emotions the lever. Each trade stops being about probabilities and starts being about relief. But it doesn't stop there. The same pattern repeats when you win. A big profit floods your system with dopamine, the same chemical released in gambling. Suddenly you feel unstoppable. The rational mind takes a back seat as euphoria takes the wheel. You raise your lot size, take impulsive setups, and drift away from your plan, all because your brain wants to repeat that high. And just like that, the market punishes you again, stripping away not just your profit, but your confidence. That's how traders swing from overconfidence to despair, from greed to fear, over and over. The truth is, you're not addicted to trading. You're addicted to emotion. You think you're chasing consistency, but you're chasing intensity, the rush of being right, the relief of taking action, the thrill of control. The market, however, doesn't reward intensity. It rewards patience. The traders that last are the ones who replace emotional stimulation with emotional discipline. They learn that true mastery isn't about feeling more, it's about feeling less. Emotional detachment isn't apathy, it's control. It's the ability to feel fear, greed, or excitement and still choose logic. Professional traders don't suppress emotion, they observe it. They use it as data, not direction. When they feel fear, they read it as information. My risk feels too large. When they feel greed, they interpret it as a signal. My plan is not being followed. Emotions are messages, but amateurs treat them as commands. Here's the uncomfortable reality. You don't need a new trading system. You need a new nervous system, because the market doesn't just test your strategy, it tests your ability to stay composed under pressure. Every candle is a psychological stress test. Every fluctuation forces you to confront your own limits of patience, confidence, and control. This is why most traders spend years improving their technical skill, but never improve their mental state. They change charts, mentors, and methods, yet they never change themselves. They study risk management, but never emotional management, and so nothing changes. They keep repeating the same patterns because their subconscious is wired for short-term relief, not long-term consistency. The unprofitable trader says, "I'll be disciplined once I'm profitable." The professional says, "I'll be profitable because I'm disciplined." That's the difference. Discipline is not the result of success, it's the foundation of it. Every consistent trader you admire didn't become calm after making money. They made money because they became calm. The market is not a mirror, it's a mirror. Every chart you open reflects your mental state more accurately than any indicator. When you overtrade, it reflects impatience. When you hold losers too long, it reflects denial. When you close winners too soon, it reflects fear. Your results are a psychological fingerprint of your mindset. The chart doesn't lie, it just amplifies who you already are. So, before you study another indicator or buy another course, study yourself. Because the market can only expose what you haven't mastered within. The real question is no longer what strategy should I use, it's what emotion keeps sabotaging me. Until you answer that, the cycle will continue, not because the market is cruel, but because you haven't learned to stop fighting your own reflection. You tell yourself you're disciplined, you promise to follow your plan, but when the market starts moving fast, logic disappears. The moment a candle spikes, your pulse rises with it. The heart rate doubles, adrenaline hits, and suddenly your mouse is clicking before your mind can even process what's happening. You're not trading your plan anymore, you're trading your emotions. The desire for control takes over, but the more you try to control the market, the more it controls you. The market doesn't move because of your actions. It moves regardless of them. Yet every trader falls into the illusion that this time they can outsmart it. You tell yourself, "I'll close early before it reverses," or "I'll move my stop just a little further, it'll come back." These are not strategic decisions, they're fear responses disguised as logic. Every small compromise builds a habit, and that habit becomes your identity, the identity of an emotional trader. Most traders believe trading is about knowledge, but in truth it's about tolerance, your ability to stay calm under pressure. Fear is the invisible force that sabotages the majority. It disguises itself as caution, as analysis, as waiting for confirmation. But behind all those justifications is the same emotion, fear of being wrong. The fear of losing money isn't the real issue. The fear of feeling like a loser is. That's why you can have a perfect setup in front of you and still hesitate. You're not protecting your capital, you're protecting your ego. When you lose a trade, you don't just see a red number, you see judgment.
You see proof that you weren't good enough, that maybe you never will be. That belief then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You hesitate next time, or you rush to make it back, not realizing both come from the same place: insecurity. Fear is subtle like that. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It convinces you that waiting longer or acting sooner is rational when it's actually emotional. Avoidance. Fear can't be eliminated, but it can be redefined. The best traders don't try to get rid of fear. They learn to coexist with it. They see fear as a compass. It points to where their growth lies. If a setup scares them, it means it challenges their limits. If patience feels uncomfortable, it means that's exactly what they need to practice. Mastery begins when you stop running from discomfort and start working through it. The market constantly tests your relationship with uncertainty. Every trade is an invitation to.
There's a moment in every trader's journey when they realize they've been measuring progress all wrong. They've been looking at profits instead of behavior, charts instead of character. Real growth doesn't show up in your equity curve first. It shows up in your reactions. The day you stop needing the market to make you feel good is the day you begin to evolve. Emotional detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring correctly. The amateur cares about every tick, every win, every loss. The professional cares only about execution. They understand that the market is neutral. It doesn't care if you win or lose. It just reflects how disciplined you are in the face of uncertainty. Once you truly accept that, trading becomes less about control and more about clarity. You stop trying to predict the market and start preparing for it. Detachment begins with perspective. Every trade is just one of hundreds. Every day is just one chapter in a much larger story. You don't need to win today to be successful. You just need to stay aligned with your process. That shift alone removes 90% of the emotional pressure. Because when you detach from the need to be right, you free yourself to trade without fear. Here's the paradox. The less you care about individual trades, the better you execute them. The tighter you cling to outcomes, the more you choke your performance. The consistent trader understands that discipline isn't about perfection. It's about precision under chaos. They know they can lose multiple trades and still be perfectly on track as long as they executed their plan. The market rewards those who can stay composed in discomfort. Detachment also means surrendering control. Most traders try to force outcomes. They want certainty in an uncertain game. They believe that if they analyze more, stare longer, or tweak their system enough, they can eliminate risk. But mastery begins when you stop trying to eliminate uncertainty and start thriving within it. The professional trader doesn't need to know what happens next because they know exactly how they'll respond when it does. That's real control. Internal, not external. This is why emotional patience is the rarest skill in trading. Everyone wants the result, but no one wants the waiting. Yet patience is where the edge truly compounds. Every time you wait for confirmation, every time you resist impulsive entries, you're training your nervous system to tolerate uncertainty without reacting. That's how consistency is born, not from knowledge, but from emotional endurance. Patience is misunderstood. It's not passive, it's precision. It's a calculated decision to conserve your emotional energy for the right moment. The market constantly tempts you to act. Every flicker of movement screams for attention. But professionals understand that doing nothing is often the most profitable move. Waiting is a position. Silence is a strategy. Restraint is a weapon. Think of the best traders you know. They don't rush, they don't chase, they don't panic. Their strength isn't in speed, it's in stillness. When everyone else is reacting, they're observing. When others are emotional, they're analytical. Their calm is their edge. It's what allows them to see clearly when others are blinded by fear or greed. That calm isn't natural. It's trained through thousands of moments of choosing awareness over impulse. The truth is, you can't fake detachment. The market exposes pretense instantly. You can say you're patient, but the second price moves fast against you, the truth surfaces. You can claim you're disciplined, but one unexpected candle will test that belief. Every tick tests your emotional threshold. Every setup measures your ability to remain aligned. Detachment is proven in the moments when you don't get what you want and you stay calm anyway. The consistent trader no longer trades for excitement, ego, or validation. They trade for process. They find meaning in execution, not in outcome. That's why they grow while others burn out. When a trade wins, they don't celebrate. When a trade loses, they don't despair. They simply log the data, review the behavior, and return to stillness, because their fulfillment comes from mastery, not money. And here's the irony. Once you stop chasing profits, profits start chasing you. When you detach from needing to win, you begin to make decisions from clarity instead of desperation. The market rewards that mindset with precision, patience, and progress. You trade less but win more. You risk less but earn more. Because consistency isn't built on intensity, it's built on control.